don't always get to choose in this life, win and lose in this life. But I'ma prove in this life, we can move in this life. Can't change up, my team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year, can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year, can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year, can't change up. My team too real, so we stay up. Yeah, this is our year,
Yo, welcome to episode 4 of the Diamond State Scouting Podcast. I'm here with my friends Josh and Bret. Like we haven't done this 4 times tonight already.
Jeez, you're not kidding.
And he doesn't mean episode 4 for the season. Episode 4 for tonight.
Episode 4 for tonight.
It is episode 4 for tonight.
The best 15 minutes this show has seen for nobody.
And then Josh, and then I personally look up at the corner. I'm like, shit.
Wait a minute.
The
literally
that's intro for Josh and me. We appreciate it. We were there.
Literally, I'm looking and I'm like, fuck.
The best conversation we were having.
I didn't hit record.
And then you look up and say, wait a minute, guys, we're not recording.
You know what? I got a nugget. I didn't get the drop, so I get to save it for y'all. This is awesome.
So
that's it.
The plan was, and we'll let everyone know, the plan was that we were going to record this and then do our normal Friday release and just fool you guys like we were going live, but
just scheduling conflicts, but you know what? We're better on the spot. We're better on pressure. Let's do it.
But the gang is all back together. Happy belated birthday to my brother Josh.
Appreciate that.
Back from I almost said Turks and Caicos. Goodness gracious.
I wish.
Back from the outer banks.
I wish. Outer banks. Should I do like what I did on the first episode? Like, damn, I'm white. Like
all that sun. All that sun.
All that sun. Jeez, you ain't kidding.
I told you. Like I said before, get a gym membership and be tanning in there.
I am the whitest. I'm the whitest.
I know people that have gym memberships just to tan.
I know. Yeah, I know people like that.
Ain't seen a weight in their life.
You know how girls like they'll find ugly friends and like try to go to the club and stand next to them. Like if you're going somewhere and you want to look tan, just hey Josh, you want to come with me? Like.
Yeah, well, I might need that. My wife looks tanner than me all the time. Her Indian skin
I will,
more than mine.
I will make anyone look tan real quick.
Got a beautiful woman on your arm, doing great, doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Episode 4, man. I'm excited. We're talking about the D tonight, D line that is.
Yes.
I'm excited because I feel like that our next top 10 draft pick is coming from this discussion tonight. But I'm also watching hashtag Willis Watch. My guy, Josh's guy, Malik Willis.
Let's go.
He's climbing. Spencer Rattler, man, he can't even start for his own team.
Man, is there anywhere for him to climb? He's already at the top.
He's already talk about it.
Spencer Rattler's got the bad attitude. That's why, but we'll get into that
Rattler's
later.
Blowing it. He's going to have to stay in school another year.
I mean, like with Malik Willis, so what I said, this is take, 4 of this. No, but Malik Willis, he has, at first I was not skeptical, but I was hesitant to say he's my top guy, but he's really growing on me more and more just because he's showing consistency and like repeatable mechanics are everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like if Tom Brady, when you watch him, everything is repeatable. Every movement is the same exact movement. You know what I mean? And that's why he's so great. And for guys like Malik Willis, they're a little bit unorthodox. So it's hard to be repetitive with that, but he's finding a way to be repetitive with that unorthodox style, and it's working. But he's going to be like Josh Allen. He's going to have to work a little extra harder to keep that style. Look at Josh Allen against the Titans. When things broke down a little bit, he kind of got away from his mechanics that was working, and he made some mistakes. But at the end of the day, when they needed a big play, he made a big play. And Malik Willis has done that all year this year so far. He's made a big play when his team needed a big play. And he's got some ice in his veins that I'm starting to really like grow on him.
I see it. You're coming over to the side.
But this year is a year. It's hard to say that after 1 year of starting, you know what I mean? Because it can ride high to kind of like come crashing down.
It's tough, but there's teams out there in the NFL right now that are really needing the quarterback. And like you said, I feel like the players that can deal with that adversity and work through it, like my big fan of Mike Tyson, I'm a big fan of his. Mike Tyson says.
Mike Tyson's a big fan of you too, bud.
Hey man, shout out to Mike Tyson on DSS. We need to get him on as a guest.
Yes,
that would be
please.
dope as shit.
Yeah,
I am so down for that.
Gonna get Tyson on here talking draft football. But Tyson said every man has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. It's about the Hall of Famers like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, the big guns, Peyton Manning. They work through their game. So then when the adversity comes and they get hit in the mouth, they still keep playing. They keep playing tough, playing strong. So that's the difference between like some of our legends and some of those good players. That's why you have like an elite level in the NFL, where a lot of teams are looking for that elite level quarterback, which Malik Willis, Matt Corral could be one of those guys.
And let's talk level competition. This kid came from Auburn, went over to FCS, kind of just like Joe Flacco, going from Pittsburgh to Delaware. Shout out Delaware.
Delaware in the house.
So now, but you want to people say, well, he's FCS or Division One, but it's like he's not really played anybody good. Let me give you a little nugget against Syracuse, like competition, right? Against Syracuse, who's been a tough team, he went 14 for 19. 205 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
And look, that was one of his worst games.
Right. 205 yards. Now let's go to look at DJ. I'm not even going to try to say his last name, from Clemson.
Clemson?
Against Syracuse. He went 21 for 34, completed that 62% of his passes, 181 yards, and only 1 touchdown.
So that's the only thing that concerns me with him is his completion percentage. I would like to see him a little higher. I think he's had like 65, 66 on the year.
66 on the year. However, he didn't have anything under 65 until Middle Tennessee State and Louisiana Monroe, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I would like to see it a little higher. I want to in that 68, 70 range, especially if you're in college.
He's at 65 his first game, and then it was 72, 75, 73.7, 68.4. At 73.7 against Syracuse, 3 touchdowns on 19 attempts. That's damn good, actually.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's almost 10 yards. That's over 10 yards of completion too. I mean, so that's nice. I like to see that. Now his worst game was Louisiana Monroe, and he 57% of his passes and 135 yards, 3 interceptions. He's thrown 6 interceptions in back-to-back weeks. So, I mean,
you're gonna have your bumps along the way, but the Willis Watch is going along strong. Mm-hmm. And Bret, we're welcoming you over to the side. We got about another episode or so before all 3 of us are calling Malik Willis the number 1 prospect in the draft this year.
I don't know if he's the number 1 prospect. I mean, the quarterbacks are so
quarterback. He's quarterback.
Number 1 quarterback. Yeah, I could
number
definitely
1 QB prospect.
Him and Matt Corral, I think, are the elite.
Those are the guys.
The traits, man.
Those are the guys. Yeah. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. Tonight we're talking about the good old D line. Last time it was the offensive line. I'm looking forward to talking about the D line tonight.
I feel like there's another. I swear this is not a Big Ten bias show. I promise you. But last week we looked at Linderbaum from Iowa.
You center. I've been watching.
Absolutely love his game, man. Mm-hmm. I love him at center. Such a technician. Yeah. Well, right before the show, Josh and I were watching a little bit of Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. That dude's a stud. I mean, I know the talk about Kayvon Thibodeau, and rightfully so, 6'5", 260, he's an athletic freak. I mean, he's got like that big-time star edge rusher potential. But, man, that Aiden Hutchinson, he's a complete package. He gives TJ Watt buys, man.
Yeah, I've been on vacation, as we've talked about earlier, and I've had family in. So that was my first look at Aiden Hutchinson, and I got excited. I mean, everyone can vouch for me. Yeah. Like, I was like, this kid is electric. Boogie woogie, but
woogie.
He looked good. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, he's got that length. He's kind of built like Joey Bosa a little bit.
Yes, number 97.
Yeah, of course he's white, 97. So you
is it 97 for Nick or Joey? Joey's 99, right?
Yeah. Nick
so it's
is
Nick.
97. I think they both were 97 at Ohio State. But he does remind you of those guys. He reminds you of that typical defensive end from the Big Ten. I mean,
it sucks how the mind works. You see a white defense end, you're like, okay, I'm going to think Bosa, and you go in there and you're like, yep. Yeah, like.
Although I'll tell
son of a bitch.
I remember who he reminded me of that I couldn't remember. It was Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like that. refinedness, the violent hands, the very quick hands.
Yep.
And
I can see that.
And he knows how to use his hands. He has a plan, just like now Chandler Jones is very, very nuanced at this point in his career. But watching Chandler Jones when he came out of Syracuse, it really reminds me.
I can see that. Yeah.
So that was who he reminded me of.
There you go.
I could see that
I like that.
I could see that out of him.
I like that.
I'm a big fan of Aiden Hudson, man. He was fun to watch. I don't know. I might have to throw his film on for the film breakdown later.
You guys have me like double thinking. I'm looking at.
I would. I'm
looking at Philly getting the third pick and going Thibodeau all the way. But you guys love Aiden Hutchinson.
Easy, Adrian. I think there's some of my fellow Dolphin fans watching. They're already heartbroken enough. They don't want to have to know the top
Miami.
three.
Thanks for the pick.
I'm trying to think. Who was the top defense in last year's draft?
Top defense in last year's draft.
The top, hold on. What do you
mean?
mean?
Top defensive player?
Defensive end in last year's draft. Was it Kwity Paye?
No.
I'm trying to think who the top. Okay, but either way, I think Aiden Hutchinson, if you put him in last year's draft, he's the top 5 maybe. Let's not go Jalen Phillips.
Well, hang on now.
Let's not go Jalen Phillips.
Jalen Phillips went before Rosso, but he's having a really good start to his rookie year. So
Rousseau?
Yeah.
I did not like him. I think how is he playing every down, or is he a pass rush specialist right now?
I think he rotates in.
Yeah. See, that's what I think his role is in the NFL.
But I don't know that Kwity Paye is the best one because he struggles finishing too. But
I'm just trying to think who was the highest one drafted.
Oh, it was Jalen Phillips.
Oh, well.
That's what I'm saying.
Dolphins don't know how to draft.
The highest defensive player drafted last year was Surtain, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, defensive end.
He's all defensive end.
Defensive end.
Defensive end. Okay. Micah Parsons?
So,
do you want to count Micah Parsons there? Because, I mean, he's playing there in emergency, but, I mean, he's playing there pretty damn
linebacker.
Yeah. So, it'd be like Zaven Collins, Jalen Phillips. And I would take Aiden Hutchinson in last year's draft. Probably, I would take him if I'm San Francisco at number 2 or at number 3. He'd probably go in that 7 to 9 range in last year's draft.
So, looking at last year's draft, I could see him going to the Panthers at 8. I could see him. Man, some of these were obviously the Bengals.
I know people like to compare this year's draft to last year's draft and see where players would stack in the draft.
Yeah.
I think you're going to – speaking of last year's draft, I want to jump in and say something.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a trend now with GMs looking at, okay, we have a stud QB. Let's find the top flight receiver from his team. Because what's happening in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase right now is out of this world. It's like, but they could have taken Devontae Smith. They had other options to take there, but they took Jamar Chase to pair him up with Joe Burrow, and it's working out.
And to add to that point, so the Jalen Waddle's pretty much not by his own accord has been so misused with the Dolphins with Jacoby Brissett. He had a touchdown catch week 1. He said he had 2 when Tua came back. So put all that to the side with what you feel about Tua. He did. Jalen Waddle stepped up and had a better game with Tua because of that chemistry. So I mean, it's smooth chemistry, but they have to be able to play. Because you remember they tried that with the Colts. What was that tight end they drafted out of Stanford with Andrew Luck?
Colby Fleener.
Yeah, he didn't really do. I mean,
I remember that.
I was at that draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, and watch Andrew Luck get drafted, and then Colby Fleener. I was there day 2, and I was right.
Sense.
I was right next to the ESPN booth where they did all their media.
Was that back in the
radio shows?
Was that Radio City Music Hall days?
Yep, Radio City.
So.
Me, my father-in-law, and my brother-in-law were all there, and then Colby Fleener comes around, and I'm like, "Who is this wide receiver?
Yeah,
he is so thin." I was like, "Goodness."
You got to wonder if they actually they didn't have a plan for him, because if they did, maybe they would have used him.
I liked him coming out.
How guys are like now, like Kyle Pitts and those kind of guys now.
Yeah.
Cook. I mean, maybe he was just 10 years too early drafted. I don't know. But the concept
still in the league. Is Fleener still in the NFL?
No,
he's been out of the NFL a couple years.
Done, right?
Yeah.
He didn't get used very well, like Bret said.
Mm-hmm. But your concept though, it works. It just gives them familiarity with a player.
Yeah.
Brings that chemistry. But especially if it's a high level player like Jamar Chase or Jalen Watt or Devonta Smith, like all three of them went to familiar quarterbacks. Yeah, so Jalen Hurts was there the freshman year, Devonta Smith, and his sophomore year. So
I like how the national media, like preseason, Jamar Chase was missing some passes and dropping passes.
They were trying to fry him up.
And then everyone forgets, like, we just evaluated this kid. Like, we know he can catch. We know he's special.
He had a year off of football.
Yeah.
the kid has always been talented. I went to bat for him all draft season. That he was the best.
He was your number one.
Yeah, he was my number one wide receiver, and Kyle Pitts is my number one tight end. But I mean, number one weapon. Period.
Yeah,
Offensively,
Kyle Pitts
I
was
had
my number one wide receiver.
I had Kyle Pitts even above Jamar Chase as far as grade wise. And then I had Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle up there, but I had Devonta Smith even higher than Waddle. But there's a lot of good weapons. But Jamar Chase, that dude could flat out play.
Yeah.
He's in a great position to take a year off of football and then come back to Joe Burrow as your quarterback, the same guy you just won the title with, the same guy you won undefeated with.
That's true.
I think that made him comfortable, and I think it kind of started him off on like the fast track to being a fantastic NFL player. He's right now a lock. If the season was to end today, he'll be your offensive rookie of the year. And there's not a lot of resistance against that happening down the stretch.
Yeah.
Big game this weekend versus the Ravens. They win that game, and it's like all of a sudden the Bengals are like on everybody's list is like, is this the team that's going to win the division? You know?
Well, I mean, they can beat the Ravens, and I mean they beat the Steelers, but we kind of see the Steelers kind of.
Everybody's putting the Ravens into their like Super Bowl now because they're looking good, but the Bengals beat them, and all of a sudden now we're talking Bengals in that elite crop. You know,
and that quarterback, man.
A lot of that
quarterback,
I'm telling you,
changes everything.
I'm telling you, Joey B. I think that puts pressure on the Pittsburgh Steelers, to be honest with you, because they're looking at Lamar Jackson in their division. They're looking at Joey B in their division. They're looking at maybe Baker Mayfield in their division, but what they have right now is Ben Roethlisberger on his last legs. So they got to be looking at guys like Malik Willis, Matt Corral. They got to be looking at the draft and seeing how they can get involved in getting a QB.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you look at the Steelers; they can fall behind this division. Now they're a very well run organization, but they can fall behind this division
absolutely.
Quick. Lamar Jackson's young; he's electric. The Browns' offense, even with Baker Mayfield, that Browns' offense is actually like really good under Stefanski. And I mean, the Bengals. I'm not a big fan of their coaching staff, but I mean, Joe Burrow is good. He's confident. Legit. Jamar Chase is confident. You know, both of them believe that, we can carve this defense up no matter who they're playing.
Yeah.
And that could be dangerous. Steelers can fall behind that division quick. Ben Roethlisberger used to mask.
I think they already have
offensive line issues. But now it's kind of like Ben Roethlisberger can only do so much. He's very limited now as a quarterback. So, I mean, they better start looking at quarterback soon.
I think the big word that you just said, Brett, the big word you just said is believe. I think that's the difference maker in the NFL. You have a lot of fantastic players. You have a lot of coaching staffs out there. But the thing about Joey B and Jamar Chase is they believe. They're like, look, we can get it done. And to be so young in that division, that's a storied division, and believe, man, the sky is the limit for the Cincinnati Bengals, if you ask me.
Well, yeah, I still don't trust their coaching staff that much. But I mean, when you have the quarterback that can that can lift your offense, man, it makes your coaches look better.
Make them look better, you
Honestly.
know. Yep. And then you start to see when they have a bad year, they're like, well, we're not going to do anything with the QB. We're not going to do anything with the wide receiver. So we got to go out there and look for another coach.
Can we just touch on what Bret just said? And he was like insinuating. Can we go in? Can we like pull all of Dolphins Twitter in right now? And because that's exactly what Bret was talking about.
God,
he said
transparent.
He said,
good stuff, Josh. He saw that out.
When you have a good quarterback, he kind of makes your coaches look good. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a Dolphins thing all the way through.
I didn't see it. The Dolphins bad.
But like, look at it with like Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. Like Bruce Arians was a good coach before, and he's done good things. But when he had Andrew Luck as an interim coach, he had a good season. and he was up and down in Arizona, but he gets Tom Brady all of a sudden, like he looks even better as a coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it makes you look that much better as a coach.
That's it.
And you look at him with Jameis Winston for that 1 year, and
It was man,
it wasn't that good.
right? But it changes the layout of the team and the franchise.
Yeah.
So,
You pair him up. A lot of times that's all it takes is to get the right guy,
right.
to get in the right situation. I think there's a lot of players in the NFL or players that we looked at like they were going to be studs, but it just went to the wrong situation and it didn't pan out for them.
Speaking on the AFC North, did we see what Myles Garrett did for Halloween?
No.
He has put a tombstone in his front yard for every quarterback that he has sacked.
I think he needs to leave.
I like it.
365.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Badass.
The only one there is not who's the backup quarterback for the Steelers?
Mason
Haskins?
Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph is not on there. He left him off.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm not messing with that guy.
Yeah.
There's a real beef between those.
I don't blame him.
He's like, nah.
You think Myles Garrett is behind, or not Myles Garrett? You think Mason Rudolph is behind Myles Garrett getting drug tested for not wearing sleeves?
Yeah. I'm not a big Mason Rudolph fan.
No, he's an asshole.
He's a little pro.
I'll be honest. You can tell.
And as you can tell that in the fact that we're talking about QBs in with the Steelers, and nobody's talking about Mason Rudolph as being the answer.
I work with
Dwayne Haskins.
Two Steeler fans, and they're like, he is not the guy. He sucks.
No,
he's not the guy, man.
I like Mason Rudolph coming out like as like a backup quarterback kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't see him being much more. Actually, I thought he might have been a little better than what he's been, but
I did as well. I like watching him in college, but nah.
So before we get back to defensive line, I gotta pose this question: who's better, Mason Rudolph or Tua Tagovailoa?
Josh is trying to get me canceled on Twitter.
Trying to get canceled.
I would take Tua over that.
Yeah, I would too. Come on, Adrian. Take the other guy.
Josh,
I gotta go Mason Rudolph, man.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go.
Now, if he said,
Hi, Dolphins
Haskins
Twitter.
or Tua, I don't know.
Oh,
Haskins or Tua?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'd take
That's
Tua.
fun. That's more fun. Hi, Dolphins Twitter. I'm gonna go Haskins.
Yo, you're gonna get them fired up. That's gonna be fun as hell.
Jeez, I love it.
DM's about to blow.
I'm
up.
trying
Twitter
to.
handle is right there.
I'm trying to. Like, I even make comments on your stuff all the time, trying to spark them, and they don't come at me. I think they're scared. They know. Like,
Get them fired up, dude.
I come with heat, bro.
Don't wait, heat, man.
Makes it fun. I like it. I enjoy it.
The red button is Dan Marino. You're really gonna get Dolphins Twitter coming after you. Dan Marino is not elite. He's not that great. I'm joking, Dolphins.
You're about to have Bret fired up right quick.
I'm joking.
Oh, no.
That's a joke.
No, I'm just thinking about like how fired up they get with shit.
We have completely sent this thing off the rails.
We're spinning.
It's been that kind of night.
I love it.
So let's spin it back.
Let's spin it back like Bret. Yeah, we're
Let's
gonna
talk
talk
about the guys who get after the quarterbacks.
Let's
Yeah, there
talk
you
about
go.
the guys that get after. That's it, Bret. The D. We're gonna talk about the D tonight. D line, that is. We got some prospects. I'm gonna put a name out there. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna see where maybe there'll be a good fit. The first name I'm gonna bring to the table is DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. What do you guys think?
So I watched him, and the first thing that popped off to me was Peyton Turner, just for the fact of he moved around everywhere on the front seven. I watched him play stand-up pass rusher. He played everywhere from, I want to say, the 8 to the 0. It's great. And friend of the show, Jake Vogel, was on the Twitter today, and someone questioned asking where you would play him in the NFL. And I think you have to play him at the 3 technique and let him move around a little bit. But he plays a 2 gap, I believe, 3-4 defense at Texas A&M. I'm guessing that just for the fact of Alabama and everything. But I saw when he played stand-up edge, he he showed good athletic ability. His movement skills laterally weren't the greatest. But what do you expect from a 291-pound defensive tackle stand up? But what I did like is the power he used and the burst he used off, no matter where he was playing. And he was active throughout every play. And I would like to see him get a little more, a little disciplined with his gap assignment. But other than that, I think he's going to be a special player. His straight line burst is great. He can collapse a pocket. He's going to be a good pass rusher at the next level.
I like him.
Kind of reminds me from what the little bit I did get to watch him. I didn't get to watch too much, but he reminds me a lot of like Chris Jones.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
When he was coming out of Mississippi State, kind of see like a lot of that similarities there.
Yep.
I was actually very
Chris
high
Jones plays defense end right now, right?
Yeah, and he moves around a lot. He can play a little bit of everything, depending on what your defense wants to do. And a lot of the league, they want to run like different fronts, and the more your defensive line can do, the better. So that kind of hides what you're trying to do. It also allows you flexibility, allows you pressure up the middle, pressure off the edge. And if you can rush from a 5-tech, that really helps. Like if he can play a 5-tech or 3-4,
he can play it all.
right. Like look at Cam Hayward with the Steelers.
Yep.
What he offers as an underrated player, he can get after the quarterback. He can hold the edge to allow J.J. Watt one-on-ones or unblocked. Something like if he can do that kind of stuff too. So I think he can offer that ability. I think actually when I was watching him, I thought of the Steelers as a perfect fit in the Ravens. Like he has that build like a Steelers defensive lineman. So, but I can definitely see that where you're talking about playing 3 technique.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think that's his ideal spot because of his speed. He's super quick getting off the snap. I wouldn't necessarily say he's super twitchy, but he's got a little twitch to him.
Yeah, he's got enough. Like he's not going to beat you around the end all the time, but he does have quickness where he can beat tackles.
But when you watch him, when they finally put him at that 3-tech, because he literally moves around almost every play, and he really did that in last year's season. And this year they kind of honed him into that 5 technique, the 3 technique position. And one of the things about Texas A&M, they move their defensive line. They'll shift them left and right to where he is playing those different techniques. And he collapsed the pocket from that 3 technique almost every time. He's a lot to handle for a center guard, and he's good.
I don't know that his weight is right. They have him listed as like 291. I feel like he's bigger than that.
You think he's bigger? I think he might be like 280.
Maybe not. I don't know because he plays bigger. Like he plays like he holds up at the point of the attack really well.
I just love his initial like coming off, his hands down, and his initial push with his hands. I love what he does on film with that.
He has really good. He has a really strong base.
He's explosive. Like he has an explosion from his hand in the dirt to hitting the player, and you can see it on film.
He's got heavy hands too. It's something that I like to talk about with defensive linemen, and because those the guys that are heavy-handed tend to be able to get off blocks better and all that. I mean, they're strong, their hands are strong, and also I do like that about his game too. I just
watching him in the run game, he just doesn't play his gaps very well.
It's more of a knowing his assignment kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's weird to me because he's a third-year starter. So you would think that he would understand his assignment a little better right now. So that could be a little concern.
Okay.
But I think one thing I seen on that, again, I only got to watch one game, but the one thing I did see that frustrated me a little bit.
Was it 2020 or 2021?
21. So one thing I watched, he was latched on to his blocker, but it looked like he was trying to find the ball, and he looked like he found the ball, but by that point, he had allowed the offensive lineman to get into him, and he couldn't get off the block at that point. So he needs to work on setting up a little better and finding the ball a little quicker and getting off the block and that's what I talk about, having a plan of attack, because when you're holding up in the block, you want to be able to know, hey, when I find the ball, I need to get hands off and disengage.
Yep.
He doesn't do that consistently enough.
Yeah, he needs to improve in his run game, but his pass rush is very good, and it could make him a top 10 player in
but
This
his
draft coming up.
Wow.
quickness
Okay.
can be a problem for interior offensive
Yeah,
linemen at the same
he's
time.
another player to talk about that we talked about before. I think before we went live was Fletcher Cox. He's
Yeah,
kind of got that burst that Fletcher Cox has.
that somehow one of the most
Good
underrated
player.
offensive linemen in the
Yeah.
NFL.
Him and
How?
Jeffrey Simmons, like they're
Yeah,
same
they're
type
very
of player.
similar.
Yeah,
Well, they came from the same school too.
yeah.
I believe the same
Mississippi
person
State.
recruited them. Not I believe the same staff recruited them. Obviously, years apart, but
Do you know who else went to Mississippi State?
Dak Prescott.
I knew it. I saw it coming.
I know it's coming. I
Yeah.
didn't want to, I really did not want to give him that. I really didn't.
I tried to play dumb. Like, I don't know who.
Wow. Does he play in the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I was
Are they
going to be
still in the NFL?
gonna be a smart ass and say like KJ Wright or somebody like that, Chris Jones or something.
Not him, guys.
Yeah.
But now we're also looking at another guy out of the SEC, Jordan Davis at Georgia.
All right, so
Georgia,
Big boy.
which is go from one Josh team to another.
Yeah.
Georgia, from Dallas Cowboys to the Georgia Bulldogs and Jordan Davis. What do you guys think?
So I want to hear Brett, what do you have to say about this kid?
all right, so just so people don't think Josh is being a homer here,
Yes.
Jordan Davis is unreal. If you look at him, you're just like, okay, he's a nose tackle. He's only going to play 1 or 2 downs, and that's it. 30 yards downfield, he's chasing running backs down.
Yeah.
He gets off blocks, and the dude can move for his size. It's not, you know what? It's not even for his size. The dude can move. And my first initial watching him, he's like Linval Joseph, but at a higher level.
I
That
mean,
makes sense.
I had to go back a little bit, but John Henderson. That's like the best comparison for him.
I love the comparisons tonight, guys. You guys are killing
Marcus
it.
Stroud was smaller, but
Yeah.
John Henderson.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's actually that's a very good one.
I mean, size wise, he's right there with him. I
6'6", 300 and
I wouldn't be shocked if
pounds.
he's 6'7",
that would
just like Henderson. But
Great.
this guy, Henderson as well, was athletic for his size, and I just want to know that Jordan Davis. I want to go inside the locker room, just see him getting smacked, just like Henderson would. But this kid is unreal. He's a two down defensive lineman, and I don't know, and I want to find out if it's because of his size and everything. If he can play 3 downs, I think he could. It's just I think they're trying to keep everyone fresh. Very deep defensive line in Georgia. I mean, you're pulling one potential All-American first team off the field to put another one in there. And that's me kind of hyping Georgia right now. But what I see is a difference maker, great athleticism, to the point you can see him running stunts on Georgia's defensive line. Like I said, 2-down guy, plays the 0, 1, and 3 technique.
Yep.
He's great at the point of attack, creating explosion for blockers to have to absorb. Can be slightly late off the snap, but, I mean, we just talked about how big he is, 6'6", 340.
6'6", 340.
If you're that size, like, you're going to be a little late off the snap, too. Can overrun his gaps at times, but most times his gap assignment causing a clog in the run game. Davis splits really well and shows an ability to push the pocket. I would love to see him play one technique at the next level, but could see him moved around like he is at Georgia, and wonder if he has the ability, like I said, to play more than 2 down. But this Georgia defense, I don't know if you're paying attention this year, but we have only allowed 3 defensive touchdowns this season, if I'm correct, 3 or 4. Without him, I think
the football. Oh my
but
God.
without him, I don't know if this defense is anywhere the same. Him and Nakobe Dean are the heartbeat of this defense, and it's fun to watch. This defense is so fun to watch.
So the 2 linebackers for Georgia, Nakobe Dean is my absolute favorite.
2.
Yeah, there's another middle linebacker. I had to think of his name. But when you watch Georgia's defense, this is what made me really love this kid. Dean is clean all the time. He has a clean pursuit all the time. And don't get me wrong, Dean is a fantastic player, but his job is even easier. His athleticism is on full 100% display.
Well, what you see is
Because
like you're
see him
saying,
explode because Davis is attacking and it's taking 2 to 3 blockers with him.
you see Jordan Davis do that, and then Nakobe Dean's biggest asset is his closing speed.
Right.
So it's perfect combination for the two.
It's because Kirby Smart is building that defense the right way.
Yeah.
And there's so much speed in that defense. I don't know who to watch in that defense.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I didn't even have to watch when you talked about the names you want to talk about this week.
Yeah.
I already watched Jordan Davis, one.
Yeah.
But two, I watched Jordan Davis watching the Kobe Dean because I'm like, man, he is clean all the time. Like he's getting free releases. He's shooting the gaps. He's making plays all over the field. And I'm watching him. So I was watching Jordan Davis. I was go back and like watch Jordan Davis. I'm like, damn, right there, point of attack.
Yep.
Jordan Davis is there, and the Kobe Dean's there to clean it up. And it's just insane. Then the one play I'm watching, I actually was watching the Kobe Dean, and I saw Jordan Davis chase the running back down. That was really impressive. But then I saw Jordan Davis lined up, head up on the guard, on the right guard or the left guard, and he stunned it all the way across to the right tackle and almost got to the quarterback. And that was, I'm like, holy hell, a guy that's 340 pounds should not be able to do that.
Could you imagine?
I
Because
see that dude was Albert Hainsworth.
I think he could do it. Could you imagine playing him at the 3 technique?
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I think he has some versatility. I think you can use him as a nose tackle. I think that's where his bread and butter is going to be.
Yeah.
And by the look of him, he likes his bread and butter. So for real.
I will
can
not
see him
take
play
that talk
all-
on Georgia players, bro.
Interesting stat. I'm looking at the CBS mock draft right now, and they have him going to the Denver Broncos, who right now are trailing the Cleveland Browns by 10.
Oh,
At
that'd be
what
a hell of
pick?
a fit.
That's a good fit, right?
That's
At what
really-
pick?
At 15.
Okay, I have him as a top 10 player. I don't think he cracks the top 10 or misses out of
You
the
don't
top
think
10.
he gets out of the top 10?
No, he's that big of a player, and he's going to clog up that run game, and that's a big thing for defenses, stopping the run game.
If you look at, I hate when people say the game has changed. There's no value in running the ball or defenses to stop the run. And look, there's still value in stopping the run because when a team wants to establish their will, they will. And they'll
There's a
run the
guy-
ball down your throat.
There's a guy in Tampa Bay right now that Jordan Davis can do the exact same thing.
Vita Vea.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
He could do
I wanted the Dolphins to draft him so bad. I love him.
Vita Vea is,
Him and Derwin James.
yeah, I mean, you put, oh my God, could you imagine Jordan Davis, Vita Vea on the same defense?
Oh my god!
Tough.
But I love this guy. Like, I remember last year's draft, and I'm going to say his name again, but Jake Vogel, he's a fellow Georgia fan. And I was talking draft with him, and I was like, man, I just hate that Jordan Davis is coming out this year. He's like, no, he's not. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Because I had him, I thought he was a number one first round pick last year. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this kid's special. He really is. And he seems to be a good kid, good head on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
So
he gives effort. I think when you watch him play, when he's slowing down, it's not because he's being lazy. It's because he's out of gas. But he plays hard a lot. And it's to the point where he might need to learn to pace himself a little bit playing that position. But he gives it 100% full throttle. And he is a handful to block. And the thing is, you can see how he's built. He's an athletic build still, especially his lower body.
Big tough guy. Got to work on the motor. In the NFL, I mean, you have a lot of guys coming in and out, so it might help him out a little bit to be on a defense that has some solid players on it.
As I said, that Jake Vogel messaged me about the Vita Vea comparison. He said that he did it before us. So,
well, I mean, you see what they're different players, but you see what they are. Like they're what they value, the value that they offer to their team. They're different style, but they can offer the same thing. And you can see how much Vita Vea can collapse a pocket. And like you can see Jordan Davis can offer the same thing.
yeah.
So
And if you can stop a
valid.
run game, make a team one dimension.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tampa Bay, their defense passing attack isn't that great, but that could also be a little skewed because teams are having the pass against them.
Right.
They're still a very good team. Their passing numbers aren't going to be the greatest because that's all you can do against them. All you can do is throw the ball.
Right. You're not going to run the ball against them, and corners are not going to win every rep all game long when they're having to when they're chasing. Like offense knows where a receiver knows where he's going. A defense, they have a good guess, they have a good idea, so they're trying to match you, so they're going to get burned out. So you're right there, and a guy like Jordan Davis can offer you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Looks like we got a lot of love for Jordan Davis here on DSS. We're going to move on to our next guy, Aiden. You guys love this guy.
I love this guy.
In the pre-show, we were going back and forth about this guy, Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan.
Yes.
I mean, when do the Steelers play? Because just watch TJ Watt, because he is a TJ Watt clone.
I mean, yeah.
TJ Watt, that's big. That's major.
I'm telling you, I think he's more polished than what TJ Watt was in college.
Wow.
Yeah. And a lot of people are going to like that didn't watch him in college are not going to like that. But TJ Watt was a really good pass rusher in college, and you could tell that he had limited experience as a starter. So the Steelers got everything out of him because that's what the Steelers do. They're a very good organization at doing that, and it got him to the next level. But TJ Watt, like his tools were there, but Aiden Hutchinson, you see his tools are there, but he's a little bit more developed at this point in college than TJ Watt was.
So when TJ Watt came out, I wanted Dallas to draft him. Instead, they drafted Taco Charlton. We know the story there.
Yeah.
But after the draft, they came out and people questioned why they didn't draft TJ Watt. And their answer was they didn't think he could be a down lineman.
Yeah.
Mm.
We drafted Charles Harris because he had a rival spin move to Dwight Freeney.
What happened? Because I love Charles Harris coming out.
I got to be honest with you. I don't think he loved playing.
Really?
Yeah.
His athletic ability, I can't tell you. I love Charles Harris coming out.
I have no idea what happened because when you watch him at Missouri, he would collapse the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And he would do everything at Missouri that he couldn't do in the NFL. And it was weird. Like he would actually do really good stuff, but he gets to the NFL, it's like, this is not the same guy.
He was like a Dwight Freeney.
Yeah. He would do so much. And it's like, where's this guy that I saw? But TJ Watt was clearly the better player.
Well, that's the thing about TJ Watt. You know his brother, you know his family, because they're all in the NFL. They are the type of people that they will work endlessly to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And TJ Watt, he's special. He might be one of the best defensive players in the league. He is one of the best defensive players in the league.
And you know what I love this league? Sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was just going to say Aiden Hutchinson could be the number one overall pick in this draft if you see the Jaguars get that number one pick.
So what I saw with the Steelers with TJ Watt against the Seahawks, when they needed to play, he made a play. Yep. And he didn't quit on a play. And that was the whole reason he forced that fumble against Geno Smith, because he never quit. Well, he just got paid that big contract. And it's nice to see a guy who still is hustling like he's on a rookie contract trying to prove it. I love seeing that.
That's a Watt thing.
Hutchinson has the same kind of mentality. He wants to fight. He wants to push. He wants to keep scrambling for everything. I mean, he doesn't give up on any play. Like his motor runs so high, and he comes off the ball with violence in his eyes. Like he chooses violence in every play. But his hands are ready.
I was gonna we talked about it earlier. At the end, we're going to do a little film watch. I was going to be like, no, I want to watch Jordan Davis. This is my guy.
Right.
But, we're going to have to watch Aiden Hutchinson.
I mean, because we're hyping him up so much. It's like, we got to talk about him. Because
every play, we would watch one play. We'd go back, watch it multiple times, and then we'd be like, okay, let's move on to the next play. And then we're like, hold up, let's rewind it. Let's watch it multiple times. Because every play, I think there was one play where it was triple teamed and still bent the edge. Mm-hmm. To almost make the play. There's one where, I don't know, it's just the kid is a freak and he is electric. I'll let you guys do the boogie woogie. But
we need a button for that.
Yeah, but I can't, he plays with hair on fire. That's the best way to explain him. Plays with hair on fire. He's amazing. He would ride. Like, let's put him in a draft class, okay? Let's say you have both Bosas in the draft. Let's put TJ Watt in there and put him in there. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Brett.
Whoa.
Rank them right now.
Rank them right now?
Yeah.
So I think I actually put Nick Bosa above Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
I think he is a little bit more refined than his brother and better at stopping a run.
Yep.
But I think, so you're saying Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, TJ Watt, Aiden Hutchinson. Shit. I think I had to put TJ Watt first.
TJ, so in a college.
Or are you talking about as prospects?
As prospects.
As prospects, it's Nick Bosa still over Joey Bosa.
I think you're going to get, I'm going to interrupt it. Nick, you're going to get Aiden.
Yeah.
Joey, and then TJ. I think TJ was the worst prospect of them. There was potential there.
I think a lot of it says limited playing time.
Yeah.
What do you have, 1 year as a starter?
And he played off-ball linebacker, right?
Yeah.
So
his usage, I think, is what really hurt his draft, but it is why he wasn't looked at as favorable.
Yeah.
But his traits were off the charts. Like his combine, I don't even have it in front of me. I would wager that TJ Watt's combine was far and away better than Nick and Joey Bosa's.
Yeah, and you saw his closing speed as well, which is one of the best I've seen.
Phenomenal. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting because you guys love Aiden Hutchinson so much. Like, you guys are really leaning towards him. I'm big. I feel like this guy's coming to Philly. I've been looking forward to talking to this guy since the show started. We're going to start the wagons now, get him going to the city of brotherly love, get him wearing that green. Kayvon Thibodeau. To the Eagles.
If you love him so much, tell us about him.
Right. Let's do it.
What do you love about him?
I love that he's Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Devion Clowney. Yeah. He's coming off the edge. We already have Fletcher Cox right there, right in the middle. But now we got that pressure coming with the edge rusher with Kayvon Thibodeau. Put some pressure on Dak.
Nah, that's not happening, bud.
Some pressure on Danny Dimes.
You need that. Now you need that athleticism to stop Dak.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
You know? You need that athleticism coming off the edge.
And someone's got to force Danny Dimes to fumble. Wait, never mind. He does that by himself.
Man. But I like where Bret said about who was it? About DeMarvin Leal. I haven't watched a lot of film on Thibodeau. But from what I've seen, he's an athletic guy. He's still very, very raw. He's got potential, but I made a comment while we were watching him. I might like Kwity Paye a little better as far as a prospect from last year into this, but haven't even got through one complete game yet of him. So I remember the biggest thing I remember is earlier this year, maybe the first game of the year, he had that huge play where he just blew up the guy in front of him and made the sack, and might have been a sack fumble. And
looked like that Jadeveon Clowney play again when he was playing for South Carolina. That kind of reminded me of that in a sense because it was just so disruptive. And, he has that ability for sure. And he's unafraid of contact. He sets the edge well. So he's tall and lengthy, and typical for guys like him at a young age. Their pad level becomes a problem for him, which is pretty typical. We saw with Aiden Hudson too. He's got to get his pad level down a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, he has the power, and he needs to be refined. But his athleticism, I'm going to guess he's going to score off the charts.
Yeah,
and they keep so fluent outside. And we watched the play against who was it? Against Fresno State. He stacked the tackle, read the play beautifully, disengaged the block right on time, but he didn't square up. So he blocked the running lane. He closed that off. Running back was able to jump cut. But if you watch his hips were turned. He wasn't square to the line of scrimmage. Should he square the line of scrimmage, he's got his full length to make that tackle for either a loss or a gain. But instead, the running back gets another yard or two. Not a terrible play whatsoever, but it's just stuff that he can clean up in the NFL. So he's like partially there, and you see that he can rush the passer. He still needs to work on his hands, needs to develop a plan a little bit better, but he disengages blocks well. He understands, how to read and stack against the run and set the edge. He just needs to clean up the little details of his game. And once he does that, I think he's going to be a star in the league. Yeah. And kind of like Von Miller and Myles Garrett when they came into the league. Mm-hmm. Very good pass rushers, but they just had to work on the small little details of playing the run and just clean up a few little things, and that's when they became stars. And I think he's kind of in that same boat.
Working within the flow of the defense that they're a part of. When they come in, and sometimes I feel like they're already studs, they're already athletic freaks, but then after you see they grow, they learn how to cater their game to their team.
Right. Yeah, and sometimes like if they come in with just asked to be a pass rusher, they're not working on getting better against the run.
Right.
And sometimes they are doing that in the background, but they're used limited, so they're not exposed against that too often.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'd like to see him get exposed to the run. If he struggles against it, get better at it. But I think he's close to being like he's not Chase Young level at coming out.
No.
But I think he could be up there. I definitely think he could be a star pass rusher.
I think the difference is Chase Young he's NFL ready. He was NFL ready in college. Exactly. Whereas Thibodeau, he needs a little bit of polishing, but he's so good that he's going to go top 5, and they're going to say, hey, we'll take him and polish him up in the NFL.
Right. And you remember Deion Jordan at Oregon, and Josh, I'm talking about that, where you kind of see like Deion Jordan in the same sense, but he's a lot more refined and plays a lot more disciplined than Deion Jordan did.
Yeah. He's not as athletic as Deion Jordan, though.
No, but Deion Jordan only relied on athleticism, where Kevin Thibodeau relies a little bit on everything. He relies on athleticism, but he knows how to use his strength and length. And he's gotten bigger since his freshman year.
And Thibodeau is a better pass rusher. He's a better all-around, what would you call him, a linebacker, defense end?
Yeah. Definitely an edge player where you don't want to set him in a position.
I think what caught the eye of every evaluator was with Deion Jordan was you saw him play defense end, rush the passer, and then you see him go out and play nickel corner, and you're like, I've never seen this before in my day. And he would literally lock down the nickel receiver, and you're like, I've never seen this. Like, this is amazing. This guy's gonna transcend the NFL. And then he got overdrafted, and
he got drafted way too high. But he had pretty damn good athleticism.
Yeah.
But his biggest problem is he was forced to gain weight to play defensive end. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, well, you know what? You can actually cover. And then they try to use him to cover Calvin Johnson against the line.
Could you imagine him being used as like an Isaiah Simmons or something like that?
So that's what did we talk about earlier? Or was that one of the old shows? I don't even remember.
It was earlier, I think.
When we talked about right team, right fit, right place. Yep. Deion Jordan. You put
Marvin Leo, I think we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So I think you put him somewhere that knew how to use him. Like if he went to Pete Carroll's system right away, he might have been a little bit better of a player.
Yeah. Like a Bruce Irvin, I think you said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
a lot of times, like that's something we were talking about pre-show. A lot of times these college prospects we're talking about, they can be lighting the world on fire and then go to the wrong system, go to the wrong team, and it kind of sets back their career.
Yeah, and sometimes if you destroy their confidence, they're kind of like, well, and now they have habits that don't work. And I've said it a few times. You guys remember Philip Merling from Clemson? Was a pretty average defensive lineman, but he was forced to gain like 30 pounds or whatever. They pushed him out. He was like a 270-pound defensive end, and Miami made him go up to like 290 to 300. So then he was like this. He would try to make him a 5-tech instead of just making him what he is. And it kind of like ruined his career or started his trajectory of his career the wrong way. We've seen teams do that way too often.
That's the issue with the NFL. We got a lot of old thinking. We're starting to roll it over to where we don't have the older. They like to stick you in a position that is fit for their offense rather than fitting their offense around their defense player around their defense.
Well, and you get that old school thinking too. There's some young coaches in the league that still think like that too. But you have some coaches that are just fresh minded, that are creative, that are just like, you know what?
And it's
You're
amazing.
good at
Like
what you do. I'm going to find a way to use what you do really well.
Mm-hmm.
And Kayvon Thibodeau, I think, is good enough. Not good enough. Make it sound like he's like barely good. It's one of those guys that you can say, I'm going to find something for you to do, and you're going to do it extremely well. Like, I'm going to find a role for you on this defense as a rookie, and I'm going to develop you into a star. Like,
and there's veterans. Okay, and I want him on the Eagles. There's veterans on that defensive line in Philly to where they can groom him to be the guy.
It's all garbage. They're all garbage.
But like,
shout out Fletcher Cox. Shout out Brandon Graham. Get healthy soon.
Not that Dallas will have the pick for it, but I think he would be like really good fit with Dan Quinn's defense.
And I was going to actually shout out Dan Quinn because the man had a mindset of, okay, this is my defensive scheme. This is what I'm going to do. He went back after last season, got fired, and he said, I'm redoing what I'm doing. I'm evaluating everything. He changed how he covered. His coverage scheme goes. He changed, and he's using players to not specifically his defense, but he's building his defense around his players, and that's beautiful.
And that's why Trevin Diggs has more touchdowns than his brother who plays offense.
They're tied now, actually. They're tied.
Yeah. That's defensive player of the year. I'm telling you, as much as I want to sit here and I want to, like, I was talking to you earlier, Josh, as much as I want to hate on the Dallas Cowboys, solid team. And then you got me on tape saying this, but Trevon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, that's a good young team, which is why Philly needs to go ahead and use these draft picks. There's a few teams out there that should be, a few fans out there that should be watching this podcast, because unless you're a fan of about 5 or 6 teams, your team is headed to the draft. There's only about 5 or 6 Super Bowl contenders.
Unless you're Miami, and then
it's a harsh reality.
Hi, Miami.
No, we got San Francisco's first.
Yeah,
that will probably be average and be in the teens.
Yeah.
Or be traded to Houston.
Keep playing Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, you want to put in Trey Lance because
Trey Lance. Yeah, you want him. You want Trey Lance to play. That's right.
Right. Well,
I'm a Trey Lance hater, so
that's right. Get him the reps.
Notorious Trey Lance hater. But when do you think Watson gets over to Miami, Bret? If you had to pick a timeline right now.
If I had to pick a timeline, I would say next week.
Next week.
Yeah, right after this game.
Does Tua get traded?
Oh, that's tough. I think he has to. I don't think he's going to want to stay there. I don't think they're going to keep him there. It's just a matter of who wants him.
So I started thinking about this. Yeah, that's the big thing, because he's a backup. He's a backup who needs to learn. And if I'm a team in a desert spot, Arizona, I'm like, I might take this guy as a backup. I'll groom him. And if my guy goes down, I have someone who's not the exact player, but he's kind of similar a little bit. And what he can do, he's short, he can run. There you go.
I don't know if he could do enough in that system because outside the numbers is where he really starts to have problems.
Yeah.
So that interception that you saw against the Jags, that was trying to run outside. He was trying to get it to the deep comeback. And the safety is wrong no matter what, because he's got the flat underneath it. He's got the deep comeback. And he's trying to force the quarterback into a bad position, but the quarterback can easily put him in a bad situation. And honestly, it was a bad defensive call against that play, but he struggled to get the ball to the deep comeback, and it was an interception. If his base isn't perfect underneath him, he doesn't know how to or not know how, but he doesn't have the zip on the ball to really make some of those plays. But I think Washington was interested. Denver, I believe, was interested. I don't know. I don't know if they balked or if they called Miami or Miami called them. I don't know how that's working. You know what I mean? I don't know who's doing the calling. I don't know who is. I don't know. I don't know that details or anything, but I think that's going to be the holdup is what happens with him. And what are teams willing to give up for him? So, and I think the teams know Miami wants to move on. So they're not going to pay a lot of money. Not going to pay a lot in draft capital for him.
Something I read that was interesting earlier today is that Washington is trying to get involved in this the Watson to Miami deal, saying, "Hey, let's get a three-way deal going so we can get Tua over to Miami. Tua over to Washington." That has some interest to me because I think that they're just saying, like, let us take a look at the guy before we go into the draft and have to go look for a new QB.
I can see that, but it depends on what you have to spend to get to it. Because I know that they feel like they need to get assets back for Tua at this point.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. But at the same time, if you're giving up, I mean, put it this way: if nobody wants Tua, why not wrap up? You get rid of Xavier Howard. Like someone's going to want Xavier Howard.
Every time I see Xavier Howard mentioned to be moved from Miami, I cringe for you, Brett. That's your guy.
You can't.
It sucks.
Can you move that contract?
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
There's Miami's actually a pretty good situation with it. So if they trade him, they might be able to get a second round pick, and that's about. Some people are saying first and a player. That's not happening. The most you'll get is a second round pick. But if they can say, "We'll take Howard and Tua, give us a second, like a fourth," that might do it. I don't know, but they're going to have to trade him somewhere. Whether it's a 3-team trade, which doesn't happen that often. I mean, it's pretty crazy that the Dolphins traded a second and a fifth or second and a fourth for Josh Rosen, and Miami can't even trade Tua. Like, I figured there's somebody who wouldn't want to give up on him, give him a chance. I felt like the Saints might be a good option. I thought, or maybe even Carolina with Joe Brady in that offense, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't think the league is as high on Tua as many think.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be out on Tua. It's a shame. They say his family is trying to. This is the stuff I read. They say his family is also trying to dictate where he heads to with him leaving Miami. So
yeah,
it's interesting. Of course, there's a lot of moving parts with Deshaun Watson and his situation as well coming to Miami. So that's why I think the trade has been kind of delayed a little bit.
It's something like we've never seen. I mean, when's the last time you see a franchise quarterback available for trade? And if those allegations never happened, he'd be with the Dolphins already. I know the Dolphins were ready to get him as soon as he was demanded to trade, and there's a possibility the phone was ringing off the hook for the Texans. But the Texans weren't willing to trade him. And then all these accusations happened, and now the Texans want to get rid of him. Trade him. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird situation. It's a crazy situation. Franchise quarterbacks at 26 years old are not readily available. Not often at all.
Absolutely true.
So true. I understand being tempted at a guy. Look, you can have for 10, 11 years. 10,
yeah, he could be the guy.
As a franchise quarterback. But these allegations, can you live with them? Can you move on from them? So there's a lot of red tape there.
I think that when you're looking at Miami, that's people's jobs on the line. You're talking about the coach, talking about the GM. They need that spark. They need that guy that's going to come in and be able to get them some wins because it's looking pretty rough right now in Miami. Shout out Dolphins Twitter. Love you guys.
Yeah. They're a wild bunch.
Wild bunch. Watson comes to town. He has the no trade. He has the no trade clause. So a lot of people in Philly are saying, like, make the move, get Watson. I don't think Watson wants to come to Philly. So I think what we have to do is just basically settle down, prepare for the draft, watch DSS, Philly, prepare for the draft, and get ready to find your next crop of players to take us back to the Super Bowl.
And I'm going to be honest. So the Eagles have 3 first-round picks.
That's right.
Josh, close your ears because you're going to kill me for this. The Eagles can get Malik Willis.
True. Why are you trying to get a quarterback? I feel like you have the quarterback.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I started to say that earlier in the pod. I feel like, could Malik Willis come to Philly and be the guy?
But look, I like Jalen Hurts. Everybody should know that I like Jalen Hurts. I think highly of the kid. I don't know that he's going to be an NFL quarterback. I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't been able to tell yet if it's Jalen Hurts' fault or if it's Nick Sirianni's fault.
To be honest with you, though, what I say earlier, the quarterback helps with the coaching. So I think whether you like Jalen Hurts or not, Malik Willis is an upgrade. It's like why I wanted Justin Fields, because whether you like Tua or not, Justin Fields is a better prospect. You can upgrade.
Now that's the thing.
Just saying, like, Malik Willis is if he's better, if you feel like he's a better prospect, or Matt Corral, and you got a pick, and you feel like, hey, that's my guy, I can build around that. Do it.
Here's the thing.
The icing on the cake for me is my first season on the DSS podcast, and Malik Willis goes to Philly.
Yeah,
I love it.
I won't be happy with that, but I will say this. There's a difference in, Malik Willis is a more talented player.
Right.
But Jalen Hurts has more of a competitiveness to him. And I will take competitiveness over the talent 8 times out of 10, just for the fact of Jalen Hurts is going to improve throughout his career. Mm-hmm. And I think he is an NFL quarterback. And I think he's very similar to the best quarterback in the league, Dak Prescott.
Wow. And I don't think Tom Brady is anything like that.
But, yeah, exactly. And that's why a lot of people were like, I like who's the quarterback in New England right now? I can't think of his name.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. A lot of people like Mac Jones because his competitiveness, and it made people think of Tom Brady. So,
well, I guess people like average quarterback play.
Yeah.
Look,
he looked good last week.
Mac Jones looks good in certain situations, but he's average. He's Kirk Cousins at the best. You know what I mean?
But
so
there's going to be a difference.
Look, he's
competitiveness.
I'm trying to come out and say it. I don't know if he's better than Tua or not, but I mean he's
better than Tua.
He's average. But a guy like Malik Willis, though, I think he is better than Jalen Hurts. I think he's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. And you can still, I think there's still hope to trade Jalen Hurts too. There's quarterback teams out there that would trade for him. So I mean, look at Drew Lock. He's kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say you put Jalen Hurts on that Denver team right now, and they're competing for the. Yeah.
That might work better. He limits mistakes compared to Drew Lock. Drew Lock makes a lot more mistakes, but he's also willing to throw it. But yeah,
that's the.
I can see that.
That's the thing. Real quick, gotta say this. When you guys are talking about it, shout out to Meek Mill. There's levels to this. So when you're thinking about the different players that we're talking about right now, there's levels, and it's a matter of what intrigues you the most. I think that when you talk about Drew Lock in comparison to Jalen Hurts, that's where what you said, Josh, really stands out to me. It's the effort. It's the fact that Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy that after a loss, he's studying film. He's working on getting his game better. You got to respect that. I just don't know if that translates to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a win now environment. They don't want to watch the guy go through the motions.
That's fair.
Are they?
I mean,
I think they're
really
rebuilding.
With McNabb.
I don't think Philadelphia understands the word rebuild.
And no, he's talking about the fan base, the fan base.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm talking about the fan base. Yeah.
They're not, the Eagles might think, oh, we're retooling, we're rebuilding it. The fans, they don't want to hear it. They want to win now. No excuses. You know what I mean? Especially Doug Peterson winning the Super Bowl in his second season. So that kind of sets the bar kind of high.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would take Malik Willis.
I mean, Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts are very similar prospects coming into this draft. They're very similar. And the one thing that Dak Prescott has is this competitiveness that he's gonna be great no matter what. And he doesn't care what anyone says or what he's gonna do it, and he's gonna find a way to do it. And I think Jalen Hurts has that exact same thing about him.
That killer instinct.
Yes, he's gonna be good. I promise you. No matter where he's at, he's gonna be a good quarterback. And once he got drafted to the Eagles, I hated that pick because I know he's gonna be a good quarterback.
So did Carson Wentz.
Yeah. Carson Wentz, it's a different, he doesn't have the competitiveness. He has that fake, I'm a good person competitiveness, which is, it's weird.
I like Carson Wentz, but we don't, his injury history, man.
I don't trust him. I like him.
Privileged.
I like the guy. I hate the player.
He's very privileged. He has a very privileged personality.
That's it. I like the guy. I hate the player.
That's it.
These are all things that we're going to be discussing here on the DSS Diamond State Scouting Podcast as we move closer to the NFL Draft. We're going to sign off for now, but fans of the show, stay tuned in. Tune into our YouTube page. If you can't watch it live, stay tuned to the YouTube page because you're going to get some expert analysis from Josh and Bret as they break down film tonight on players Kayvon Thibodeau, maybe even a little Aiden Hutchinson tonight. So stay tuned in if you're live. If not, and you're watching the YouTube podcast, stay tuned in. Check out that expert analysis from Josh and Bret. Fellas, episode 4 is in the books.
Yeah, we got that.
4 tries.
I know, right?
4 tries.
And we go live and we crush it.
That's it. Every
That's the way
time.
it is.
Every time, man. That's the way we do. That's the way we
But
do on
we
DSS.
got some cool stuff coming up. We got some affiliations as well.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and then we also follow us on social media. DSS Scouting. I say DSS, but I guess it's DS Scouting. Got my boy Adrian, Dean Branch. Got me, Josh Wingate 302, and you got Bret over here slinging around in Miami Dolphins country on Twitter at Bret Legacy 67. But we're on Facebook, everything. We got a Facebook page, so join us and let's talk.
Yeah, hit us up, man. We got social media. Looks like my man Josh said, man. Twitter, Facebook. Hit us up on YouTube. Hit click like, click subscribe. Check the show out, man. It's only
we gotta do that whole subscribe.
That's right.
Yeah.
What do they do? They say somewhere down here.
Subscribe somewhere down here.
Right here.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're backwards, whatever.
Unless you're a fan of 5 or 6 teams right now, you should definitely be watching, preparing for the NFL draft.
Yes, sir.
And we appreciate it if you are.
So, fellas, all right, I'm going to sign off. Enjoy the expert analysis. I'll be tuning in to check that out, and we'll look forward to our next episode, episode 5.
Yeah, we're going to take a little pause as well, just so I can
reset
and have a little pause for podcast reasons. But
yes,
appreciate you guys.
Another one in the books, fellas. Love to do it.
Yep.
Until
Thank
next
you.
time.
Yep. What is up? We are back. Better than ever. I don't know if I can hear you, Brett.
Sorry, I muted my
There
mic.
we go.
Yeah, we're back better than ever.
Since we're not podcasting, technically, eating the pretzels. I was like, okay, 2-minute break because in our little private chat, just to give a little update here.
Down all my water, so I had to pee.
Yes. I had 2 of these bad boys, and we were like, I want to say, at the 53-minute mark. And I was like, I think that's when we started talking about Tua. And I was like, man, I have to pee. And Adrian on the back end was like, okay, so I'm going to wrap up after this Tua talk. And then Tua talk went to like a minute 8. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to pee so bad.
Damn, dude. You're in the spot with the Tua stuff, man.
So,
I shared it with the Dolphin Twitter, man. Some of the guys from Dolphins Twitter. So I was like, I know they're getting a kick out of that.
so yeah, we are going to, let me pull this stuff up. What we got here?
Oh, hold up now. PFF.
What's up?
PFF College now. They got Malik Willis number 1, Matt Corral number 2, Sam Howell number 3, and Tanner McKee number 4.
Tanner McKee.
Yep.
Who is he?
Stanford kid.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
How about this Pittsburgh quarterback? So I watched him this summer. I watched his 2020 film, and he looked to be the part, but then at the same time, he did not look to be the part. He looked like if he developed, he could have skyrocketed. He could be a second, third round pick.
Well, see, so there's a guy, Michael Haas, on Twitter. I've been talking with. He's actually a fan of the Pittsburgh quarterback. He's been doing quarterback ranks. I have to find it, see where he had him ranked again. I have to go back and look at the conversation. But he had him ranked on there, and he had him a little higher, I think, than some of the others. But he's got like some moxie to him. See, I don't know that he'll ever be an NFL quarterback, but he does have a lot of moxie to it. I don't know. A lot of confidence in his game.
Yeah, I think when I first evaluated him, I had him as a seventh round undrafted free agent. But I think it was, which game was it? It was one of the, who did they play down south? It was early on in the year, but he just looked fantastic.
I think they just played Virginia Tech, right?
What's that?
You talking about the kid from Pitt, right?
Yeah. What game were we watching, Aiden Hutchinson?
What game we're watching against Washington. Hang on, I'm gonna look at 2 things here. You gotta bring that up, and I'll whatever game you want to bring up, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, no. Yep.
Here.
Who has a good offensive line?
I'd say Washington, but that tackle he was beating constantly. Either he made him look really bad, or he was just
There we go.
not good.
So let's pause this.
Pickett. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Yeah.
Like I get so dialed in on prospects when we're recording, I kind of like brain dump. Like outside of that. Since Kenny Pickett, though, he's in his 5th year. You know, I mean, look at his numbers this year. Almost 2,000 yards passed already. 1,900 yards passing. 69.8 completion percentage and 21 touchdowns. Impressive. But it's almost like a Joe Burrow style jump because he threw for.
But you could see it there. When he played last year, you could definitely see it.
Right.
You can see he was just a tick off. He had some things to improve. But at the same time, it was like, I don't know if he ever will. This could just be him.
Tennessee, he had completed 66.7%, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, so when you play against bad teams, you need to do what you're supposed to do against them. Went 23 for 31, which is 74% completions, 382 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 1 interception against Western Michigan. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And they lost that game. New Hampshire. completed 86% of his passes. 24-28, 403 yards, 5 touchdowns. Georgia Tech, 23-36, 63.9, 389 yards in the air, 4 touchdowns. Now against Virginia Tech, they won, but he was 22-37, put a 59.5, only 203 yards, 5.5 yards per attempt, and 2 touchdowns. But he didn't turn it over.
Before we get into this film breakdown, we got to do our usual caddy cut up. Find them on Patreon. They have fantastic stuff. They get probably most people that you talk to on Twitter about draft, they help them out. And it's for $1. I mean, if you can't afford $1 to watch players and do something that you enjoy, sorry.
And he does it. I mean, pretty much doesn't really make much money on it. So he does it for the guys like us and anybody who wants to watch it. I mean, it's awesome. So I mean, it's worth donating $1, or you can donate more for a little bit more value.
Say on who he uploads. I think I do $3. I get to ask for specific players and games that I want, and he'll either say I don't have that game right now, I'll get it to you later, or he will get it to me like right away. And it's just a good little community. He's a cool guy, and I appreciate him because that's one of the hardest things to find. And even who was it before? Draft Breakdown, I think it was.
Yeah, draft Breakdown was good.
They never had all 22 film though, right?
No,
or did they?
It was game film.
Yeah.
22 has been like still difficult to get a hold of, but
Caddy Club has it.
Yeah, but those guys circled, highlighted the player. They broke down every play that player's involved in, whether they were like right a big part of the play or they were just kind of there on the play. But as long as they were on the field, they highlighted them, had every play.
And that's what Caddy Cut Up is doing.
And that's how a lot of us got our beginning, man. Those were the days.
And I want to say these guys are kind of like from there. I think that whole group just branched off and did their thing. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I want to say that. But here we go. Let me see if I still have my little...
What we got here?
I was trying to see if I had my little...
Draw.
Yeah. I don't know how
to pull it
John
up. Madden.
Yeah, I don't know how to pull it up. But here we go.
So he's number 97.
Number 97.
We'll try to find him pre-snap so we can point him out.
They'll point it out for you.
There you go.
They'll point him out.
Right. That's right. He did. He does do that. So here he's standing up.
Yep, stand up.
Be in front. Well, technically, this is pretty much a 4-man front.
Yeah, tight end in. You got tight end, tackle, guard. Yeah, I mean, what is that? Is that a...
Or running back?
Is that a nickel with a safety up in the box, or...
Go back to the very beginning of the play, if you can. It's pretty...
Is that kind of what it is? Or is it just nickel? You took out the other down lineman, played nickel.
Looks like they might have played nickel.
Yeah,
because I think 20
down
there,
linemen.
The 20 there, I don't think he's a linebacker.
Because they're a 3-4. They're a 3-4 scheme.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
This is very similar to what he would do with the 49ers. What they did with the 49ers a lot.
Yeah.
2 down linemen. They led the league in nickel defense.
I'm starting to play. Poof. That initial, like...
And now, look, yes, it's a tight end. But again, he's doing what he's supposed to do against a tight end. Just blows him back. And then look at him fight against the guard. He's nowhere near the play, but look at him hustle downfield. Watch, he's going to blow this tight end up. Get to the guard, or to get off.
Yep.
He knows the ball's away. He knows it's screen or dump off. So he knows. Yeah.
Opposite side of the field, the play was on, and he still tried to not necessarily make a play, but he wanted to be in the area to make a play.
Now watch, he recognizes motion. His eyes in the backfield. So he knows, hey, I'm not going to dick around with this guard blocking me. I'm going to get off that and get upfield.
So first down 10.
Let's see.
That was good.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like he's getting blocked, but he's actually holding his ground.
Yep.
Because remember, he's off the ball. So he holds his ground, collapses in, or pinches in, pretty much.
I'm going to slow this down slightly.
That's fine. That'll work.
Yep. Held his ground, looked down the line, saw where the ball was going, and made the play.
The D line made the play there because the linebacker got blocked. Number 12 gets blocked. Also, about the tight end.
These two guys made the play.
Yeah.
Tight end comes in and wipes out this guy, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And you watch those two pinch in and just do their job. Actually, he closes off the backside of it. The 2D tackles made the play, and then he closes off the backside.
Yep.
But he's
complete defensive line effort there.
Yeah, he's holding at the point of attack, man. That's what you like to see.
And this might be a better angle here.
Tackle. It's against a tackle, so we're not saying it's like a tight end again. Off ball,
better angle.
Okay, trying to do an arm over, but you notice the lineman just couldn't get a clean block on him.
Yeah, he kind of got caught up in the lineman, but
it looked like he tried to do a swim move with the arm over, and it just didn't work. But he still was able to make the play.
I feel like I have to speed it back up because you don't get the full effect with it slowed down. He's still going to look fast, but the man's an absolute freak when it comes to his get off. Like, honestly, plays with hair on fire.
Yeah.
I wish I had that Fresno State tape. There you go, made that tackle.
Yeah, so he made the tackle, but here's okay. One thing I don't like here is he tries to go around the tackle. But play it again. I want to see if it's like an RPO. It is. All right, so looks like it could be an option too. Nebraska.
No, it looks like a triple option.
Yeah, so Nebraska does run option plays too. So yeah, it looks like an option. So yeah, I get why he went around the tackle. Close off the quarterback.
Yeah.
Because if he goes inside, yeah, he can be there to support the run. But if the quarterback,
so that's right there. His eyes are on the ball,
and
then if you slow it down a little bit, He flattens to see where the ball went. He didn't see the handoff. He's seeing if the quarterback kept the ball, and he's like, nope. And then he goes and makes the play.
Yeah, that's you like to see that.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So originally I saw him go around the tackle, and I didn't like it because it was a run play. But you see Martinez looks like he's doing an option. So
you're gonna have an option, guy run behind the running back, acting like he's going, sorry, not an option. You have a guy, what's it called? I can't think. Holy shit, my mind is absolutely gone right now. You're gonna have a motion, guy running back behind the running back, and then he's gonna cut back to where he came from, and that's where the triple option is gonna be. It's gonna be fake a dive here, and then they're gonna fake that option to the left.
And if you go back, it looks like they're reading 55, maybe. They're trying to see what he's going to do. Martinez probably should have kept this because I think 55 pinches in. No, he widens out.
Yeah.
30 crashed down and kind of did a good job of closing that up.
But let's get back to that.
So watch this. Watch 30 come in with the motion. And, yeah. Actually, the motion kind of pulled. It's kind of a silly design because the motion kind of pulled the linebacker or nickel back into it.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of
Yeah. But 97, again, Hutchinson's there to make the tackle.
58 as well. Did a good job on that play, clogging the hole.
Their defensive line is very stout. It's one thing I really highly respect Jim Harbaugh is his trenches are always well coached. Ball control the line of scrimmage, and that's why it's nice that you see this. You can really see how they play. Hey, good God, holy hell!
I think we mentioned it in the show earlier. We mentioned in the earlier show he plays with very heavy hands, and he's explosive from his stance into hitting the player.
Now go back to the beginning of this. Watch this. Stand up again. Watch his hands go into the tackle and just blow him back.
Yeah.
He uses his length and leverage to blow him back.
Very explosive player.
Love that.
Okay. You're going to see it better here. And
Watch
we're
it
just
again.
like, normally you'd be watching film, you're like, yeah, whatever. And we're like highlighting a little extra stuff, but
Boom.
he was double teamed on that. He had a chip from the guard.
Which is why he dropped to his knee because 70 kind of gave him a little pop there.
Yeah. But still,
That was a good play, though.
Yeah. Had to be chipped.
Yeah. So, and that means he beat the tackle. When the guard has to help as he's going to the next level, that means he beat the tackle.
True.
Just get that corner. It's not even touched.
I want to see that.
Watch him dip his shoulder.
I want to see that snap. How? I was hoping he got off that a little quicker.
So he dips his shoulder, so his hand it's under the guard or the tackle's hands.
Like that slight dip, like.
Mm-hmm. And that allows him to bend the corner to give you a more direct lane to the quarterback. I like to see him actually start to bend just a tad earlier, and that would actually work. But he flattens to the quarterback nicely.
Yeah, I think if he started earlier, he's running straight into that tackle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you might be right. Actually watching that again.
Yeah, we might see a little better angle coming up here.
So sacks are one thing, but I love what Brandon Staley had said, that pressures are more predictive
Is this
of sacks.
This isn't our guy we watched.
Who?
Who's the Wisconsin offensive lineman that we watched?
Well, one, this is Nebraska. We watched.
Oh, that's Nebraska. Sorry, I'm thinking.
We watched Iowa Center. We were going to watch a Wisconsin offensive lineman. Ooh. Watch that. God, I don't want to get stuck on one play too long, but look, he starts to put his hands out, fakes the tackle. I didn't even notice that. You see that? I don't know how well that's going to work in the NFL, but look, he puts his hands out, almost as if to fake him out, like he's going to drive and bull rush him, and then drops and goes to the corner. So that might have cost him just a little bit of time to not come up with the sack, but that I don't like that technique because it just fakes him out. That he realized the tackle was like too far away. I don't know. It looked like it was kind of.
Either that or he realized he beat him at that point. And didn't have to do
that's
it.
what I mean. Like, oh shit, I don't even need my hands.
97.
There he is, lurking. Look, you notice he always seems to be making the defensive line calls. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
He's always chatting before the play.
I think he's, two-time captain?
Yeah.
Junior, senior year? He's a senior, so that's impressive in itself.
He's a senior. He only played 3 games last year. I think he got hurt.
Yeah.
But watch this. This is one thing I don't really see. Look, again, he was chatting before. Nebraska's going to adjust. It's just how Frost is, and he's signaling to him. I like that. He's very heads up.
His dad as well played for Michigan.
Yep.
I think 89 to 82 or 92.
Now, I will say, play that again. Sorry. Watch him again. Stop. Yeah. He's not exactly square. I mean, he knows 11's coming to crack block him. He knows that.
Yeah.
He knows he's getting ready to get wham blocked. And he shoulders him. Just square up just a little more. But, I mean, he's there.
There's nothing I feel like there's nothing he could have done at that point. I mean, yeah.
Just technique-wise, though. Because when there is something, when it is in front of you and that happens, that's what I'm saying. Just practice, repetition.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, very minor thing. It's nitpicky, I should say.
Yeah. That was good.
Not quite athletic enough. Martinez is quick.
Yeah, Martinez is.
So he will. Speed will get him.
But he broke down fairly well. Saw what was happening. I mean,
Okay, so athleticism was not the problem there.
He broke down a little too. He got a little too inside, and then broke down last second. And it's good that he initially was able to do that. And
he recovered really well, though.
Yeah.
to give chase. So he gets a little over.
He gets a little
But
wild too.
You kind of expect that for guys that play like he does.
Yeah.
For a guy who plays 100% every play. Look, calling again. See that?
Yep. I don't think he's as watching this. Like I said, I watched one
He's not crazy athletic.
game. Yeah, no. His bend isn't, or his
I think Watt.
agility.
I'd say
Yeah,
Watt.
I was gonna say Watt's a little more athletic as far as.
Is Joey or Nick? Which one is more athletic?
I would say.
Joey, I think, is more athletic.
I want to say Joey too.
Nick is more stout.
His ankle. I was gonna say his like change of direction.
He got double team there. He tried it, but his technique wasn't bad here. Like he split the double team a little high.
Yeah, he starts out a little high.
Yeah, I mean he's standing up too. If you maybe put him with his hand in his dirt, maybe not so bad. But he's also 6'6".
I would be very excited to watch him with his hand in the dirt and the explosion he comes with.
Yeah, I mean
he has all that room to just power up and.
Yeah, he has that length like Jason Taylor kind of length, like that. You know, there's like the like Chandler Jones, like the long defensive ends.
Yeah.
But, oh god damn!
He pancaked the.
He couldn't get off the block, but he decided, screw, I'll just destroy him.
With the one hand, I think he had
Yeah. Oh no! Watch that again.
hand in face.
So watch. No, it's not just that. Oh no, that's not hand in the face. That's shoulder pad in the face. Look at his hands before the snap. He's shoving. He's got his left hand on 69's right hand.
Yeah.
And just beating that, and then taking the shoulder pads and shoving it into his face.
He got wrist control.
Yep. He's getting the pads and driving it up into, and that's like what you coach. You drive those chin pads or your shoulder pads up into their chin. That was nice. He got hands on first, and he doesn't give the one thing.
But
I really
here's
like
the
about
thing:
he doesn't let them in his frame. He gives them nowhere to hit.
and that's something I was going to say. The offensive tackle just didn't use his arm length.
Mm-hmm.
He played with. He has long arms. It looks like, but he made his arm shorter.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive lineman did because he came in with his hands like that.
And look, he's in on the tackle, even though he's not making the tackle. He always finds the ball.
That's something you always look for. There's these players that you'll watch. I'm going to pause real quick.
Okay.
There's these players that you watch, and people are talking so much about them and how great they are, but they're never in on the play. I watched, who was it? There was someone else we talked about watching on the show, and trying to pull it up real quick, but I was like, man, this guy is never in on a play. And it might have been Thibodeau at first. I think I might have watched
Well, you said that about him at first. You said he's not really wasn't involved in a few plays.
And you barely see him involved, and you're like, what is going on? I think it was what's his name? DeMarvin Law. I watched his 2020 film, and he was not in on anything. He was getting beat in the run game badly. And I was like, man, what is everyone talking about? They're saying he's the best defensive tackle.
Yeah, just not seeing it.
And he was literally not. He went a whole game without making a tackle or being in on a potential tackle.
And so I think that goes when you're evaluating guys, you try to break it down. Like you're looking, okay, all right, he's not making a play, but now I got to look at what's his technique, his athleticism.
Yeah.
Now look at the guy for what he is. But you at the end of the day, even with traits, you want to see the traits.
You need to make play.
Traits help you make plays. So if you're not making plays, those traits don't mean squat.
Yeah.
And the underwear Olympics get you drafted higher, but I'm not falling for that. If it doesn't show on tape, I don't give a shit if you're the most athletic person in the combine that ever was. If I don't see it on tape, I'm not really interested in it. If I see it on tape and then you show it to me at the combine, okay, cool.
I will always go back to this player because he's great and fantastic and maybe one of the best to ever play his position. But Aaron Donald, when you watched him on tape, he was in on everything, like literally everything.
We actually, that's when we started with Draft Dallas.
Yep.
Years ago. So I remember that we watched him a few times. We talked about him a lot and how he was just
he's fantastic.
And remember, I said he could be a 5-tech, 3-tech. It didn't really matter. He's just so powerful. He's going to do everything.
And at that point, I was like, I don't care about his size, anything. He's going to be great. And I remember he goes to the Senior Bowl and he's blowing everyone up.
Yep. And he's still doing it.
Yep.
And I remember people saying that Sue was a better prospect. Man, Donald was a better prospect.
Yeah.
And I thought Sue was a hell of a prospect. Donald was just amazing. Really looks so. He reminds me, in a sense, of Kwity Paye a smidge, where he's just a smidge late. I just said that word twice in the sentence. Whatever. He's just a hair late. Smidge. Well, now watch. He's going to be talking again.
Yeah. What is it with this game and the Fresno State game? Was it the Fresno State we watched?
No, it was Washington.
Well, the Washington. What's the difference between this and Washington?
What do you mean?
Because he was literally, I feel like he was playing more explosive against Washington.
Well, Washington's tackle was, and their offense as well.
Had twigs for legs.
I mean, this offense is going to stress him a little bit more. So I actually like seeing it. You're going to go from Washington's offense, which has been bad, to this offense, which is a lot more like your college type offense. It's a lot of spread, a lot of options. No, but watch this. This was good.
So I guess he can't play his hair on fire against this offense because
see that look, he breaks down. See, forces the quarterback to pitch it, and then comes and makes the play. Now that linebacker or a corner, I don't know what 25 is. He needs to make the play there. Watch 25 is linebacker. Watch, he's there to make the play.
Yeah,
gets beat.
Overran it.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have taken the banana route.
Well, look. Now watch 97. Watch Hutchinson.
Yeah, takes a good angle.
Stays with it. That is one of his best plays that we've seen.
Yeah.
I really like that. He breaks down, scrapes across, and just follows. And watch. Reads it. Okay, there it is. I'm going to go get it.
He's a very intelligent player.
Yeah, I really like that. That was really, really good rep. He didn't over-pursue that time. Martinez beat him the last time he ever pursued. He learned. I like seeing that.
I will say this. If you want to watch what happened there, if you want to watch a game and be like, holy hell, this guy is like the real deal, and never watch a game again, put on that Washington. Yeah.
Go back to this. So this is all right. So they're doing a motion and out. They're making it seem like it's similar concept that we saw before, where
kind of like that triple option.
Yep. So they're going to fake the option, the outside.
Just a different view of it.
Yeah, it's more of a spread kind of thing. So it just stresses the defense. But watch them read everything in seconds. Well, in a second.
Yeah, instead of bringing the guy in motion,
look, watch, he reads it all. He sees that 83 is coming to crack me.
Yeah,
avoids that, but he sees quarterback. His job. So his job on that play, I have to assume, is to make sure the backsides they don't get out of the backside, that they don't fake it up the middle, and the quarterback runs it with the option on the backside. And so he did his job there. So he's not going to be involved in that play as heavy as you assume. So he doesn't look like he's playing with his hair on fire.
So basically his job is to read, because he's the read in that option, in that second option play. So if he was to, if they didn't hand it off, they're going to be reading 97 to figure out if the quarterback's going to run or pitch it.
So I don't know what the read is here for the up the middle.
So
I think that he's the read the whole time. The reading 97.
Oh yeah. So
watch the quarterback's eyes. He's reading 97. So watch his head. He's going to turn to 97 when the ball snapped, and he hands it off. He sees that 97 can't make that play. He sees what's 97's responsibility. Breakdown.
Yeah, and he did that. And he did his responsibility.
Yep. So he knows I have to watch the back and the. Yep.
If you're that quarterback and you see 97 there, 25 there, 97 could very easily split you at that point.
Yep.
The two players, and then 25 can take the quarterback.
Yep.
That was a good read by Martinez.
Mm-hmm. And it was a good read, and Hutchinson did his job. So he's not going to be involved in that. So when we talk about he's not playing with his hair on fire, that means he knows to slow it down against teams like this that like to do that kind of stuff. They like to stress your defensive ends, like to stress your. That's awesome. That shows that he has a good understanding of what he's facing every week. Look at him get out there. Look at him get out there on that. Is that a halfback? That was a swing pass to the halfback.
Yeah.
Watch him get out there. He recognizes it.
Yeah.
He sees the motion. He doesn't even give rush. He knows it's a quick pass. The whole design for this is just a quick pass, easy completion. And
again, we
just get out there. And look, and he limits that to like a 2-yard gain. Look at it again. Watch the corner out there. He gets double teamed.
Yeah.
So, and he's there to help clean that up. Hell of a hustle play.
You can tell he watches film. Smart player.
Yep.
Should I do the obvious characteristic for this guy?
What?
He's a coach's son.
Well,
hardworking player.
I mean, did his dad coach? Or does his dad coach? I know his dad
I
played
don't
at
know.
Michigan.
He played at Michigan. I don't know if he coached.
It might be a coach's son.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's gonna line up on the other side now. Ooh, I like. That's the left hand.
That's
okay.
Oh,
okay.
I like that.
Martinez.
Any other quarterback?
A non-athletic quarterback, and that's done.
Yeah.
I mean, still got to do it. You're going to face athletes in the NFL.
You put two in that pocket, and he's done.
I mean, but look, but now the quarterbacks look at the whole
coming
thing
for you,
changed.
Miami fans.
But look, incompletion. Because he just made Martinez uncomfortable, got him out of the pocket.
Almost interception.
So pressures are more indicators and predictive tools for sacks and other bad plays for the offense.
I want to see this other angle because he was very active in that pass rush with his hands.
Yep. So for those who would say, well, he's lining up against the right tackle, now he just beat the left tackle. It doesn't matter. Oh, my God. God.
Hands didn't
Watch
stop.
that close. Watch his hands.
Yeah.
Oh
Hands didn't stop. And he ripped his way through.
Watch his right hand and the tackle's left hand.
Yep.
So I don't know the technique names. Brandon Thorman knows that a lot more. He swipes the tackle's right arm, and then with his right arm, he grabs the tackle's left arm and knocks it.
I want to say that's a big DeMarcus Lawrence thing too.
Yeah, it's hand control. DeMarcus Lawrence always talked about offensive lineman's wrists.
Yeah,
he always talked about it, or not DeMarcus Lawrence, DeMarcus Ware. Well, I was thinking, we talked about using people's wrists, where if you manipulate, you can get their hands on their wrist, you can get them out of the way. That's what he did there. It was nice. Which is also why I like jiu-jitsu.
Another one where it not going to show up on the film or the stat sheet, but he broke down, watched to see where the quarterback was going, and
forced it inside.
Did his job. Yep, did his job.
Look, the quarterback freezes him, so that's what this kind of offense will do. It's going to freeze him.
And you got to think, where would you rather the ball go? Would you rather the quarterback take it, or would you rather him hand it off?
I'd rather do my job and force the quarterback to hand it off the middle because
that's where our guys are.
And that back have speed, so I don't want him. I don't want them on the edges.
But
Martinez can hurt you on the edges.
If you hand it off up the middle, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys instantly up the middle that can help us.
Yep, he forced that to his help in the sense that way.
Yep.
I didn't see actually who won this game. So, wait, what year is this one?
21.
Okay. That's not the stat sheet yet.
As you can see, there's a balloon right here.
30. Oh, okay. So
nice red balloon.
So sacks. He got okay. Just looking at some things.
He
Very active in this game. He was only accredited for 3 tackles in this game. He had 0 sacks this game.
If I am Cincinnati, if I am Pittsburgh, and if I am Cleveland, I am drooling over this guy right now because he does his job and he forces the quarterback to hand the ball off. And that means I'm not going to be seeing a lot of Lamar Jackson in RPOs.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get a guy. I mean, thing about Lamar Jackson that would drive defensive coordinators nuts is Lamar Jackson might see you, and where most quarterbacks would just go, okay, I'm going to hand it off. And Lamar Jackson, like, man, I could beat you with my speed. Like, oh, this isn't fair.
But
so again, forcing it back inside.
He's a smart player. He's going to make the quarterback second guess what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm. And the quarterback is not. Martinez is a confident kid with the ball in his hands. He's
for sure. Runner. He's a running back.
He's not afraid to run the ball, and he's handing the ball off, and that's his read. But he's not like, I can beat him.
This is Blake's or no, not Blake. Is it Blake? Brother?
With the linebacker Blake Martinez?
No, who's the quarterback that went to? Is this the same Martinez that went to Nebraska? Or is this the second Martinez that went to Nebraska?
I think, I don't even remember now.
I feel like there's been a Martinez there for like 8 years now.
No, I think it's the same Martinez. He's so fast. So watch.
That was a good job by the tackle.
Yeah.
And
so Hutchinson beat him initially, but the tackle recovering kind of pushed him along.
And the running back kind of broke him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it kind of broke his chance to take the corner there.
Yep.
Good design all around, but that was a good play by the tackle to use the running back. Now he's got help there to kind of break up that rush. He's always actively looking to the sideline.
Yeah, getting the call and
that same play? Yeah, the same play.
Which game of the year was this?
This is the last one they played this year.
Oh, okay. I wonder if he's a little beat up.
So we know they won because Michigan's undefeated.
Yeah. I wonder if he's a little hurt right now.
That could be. I know he played with the injury last year.
Yeah.
He was injured last year. And that Washington game was earlier this year. He had 2.5 sacks in that game. Good Lord. Actually surprised he didn't have more to weigh. It was looking against that left tackle.
Yeah.
He does move around. This game he's played a lot to the right side. To the offense's right, defense's left.
Yeah.
And I can't help but wonder if there's a reason for that. Holding up that tackle.
Yeah.
It was nice. He stacked that nicely. God. And he keeps the hands off to keep himself clean and dips right under.
Yeah.
It looks like the tackle doesn't touch him, but he does. And he puts that tackle in a bad situation where he's lunging after him.
Basically spins the tackle around him.
That tackle actually looks like he's decently coached. It's just Hutchinson is making him look bad.
Why?
Is that a
why
tight
did
end?
it? No, that's a tackle.
Watch that. What's that?
Why does he do that? And I'm talking about the offensive tackle. Why does he bend like that?
Oh.
Like or is that something that looks like something?
That was something Hutchinson did.
Yeah.
He's not just going to bend. That and he beat. Hands were dropped, so now he's down. And now
I wonder if let's see this angle here. Because that is interesting. Because he literally straight up bent.
Yeah.
And if he pulled a grown man down like that,
yep,
barely doing anything,
he knocked his hands off. He swiped his hands, and he's if you notice, he's
So it
very
shows you
reactionary.
the power this man has. What is that? Is that man? He has a lot of power in his hands, just for that fact. To be able to make a man bend like that with just a swipe like that, that's powerful hands right there.
He's knocking the arm off, and it's like Schwartz always puts on his, like was talking about on Twitter, talking about hand placement. He was just talking about it the other day, and when you give the offensive tackle nowhere to hit, or you knock his hands where his hand placement is going to be off, you win every time.
The biggest thing for a defensive lineman is to minimize the target for them to block you, and knocking their hands away. Like if you can, their hands are their most important thing. Like honestly, like it's everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Like if you can affect how they're placing their arms or hands, and if they can place their hands, like you've won every time.
Yep. And if you look at it, this is what reminded me of Chandler Jones. This kind of stuff right here.
Yeah.
The hand usage.
He's a smart and I like him a lot.
Now
he's NFL ready.
Yeah.
He'd come into the NFL doing this.
Now, I'll be honest. I don't know that his ceiling is as high as
He does have a bend. He does have a bend, though. Like, we saw his bend in Washington.
No, he has a bend, but I don't know if it's Chandler Jones' bend.
Oh, no.
That's all I'll say, because I compared him to Chandler Jones.
I think he's limping a little bit. Like, come back to this. Watch after this play. Like,
yeah. Little hitch, and he's walking.
Like, and it looks like it's kind of like in his hip area.
Well,
like, I wonder if that's affecting his bend. And
I mean, it could be. And it's not trying to make excuses, but
it's not. But
you want to have an accurate.
If you're going from that Washington game to this game, that man was playing unreal, like absolutely unreal.
You want to be accurate with your evaluations, and if we know he's injured,
do you just get a fumble, or no? No, he just tried to get him on the play.
Let's see. I don't know. I know the lower body injury. That's all I know. He had a fractured leg last year.
Yeah. I wonder if he has a hip thing going on right now.
No, maybe. A lot of ankle issues after fractured legs and stuff with this kind of sport, you know?
Yeah.
Well, he read that.
Yeah.
And
he gave number 5
right?
an opportunity. I think they double screened it.
Yeah, because it looked like a double screen to the backside, right?
I think they used receivers on one end and the offensive lineman to the other.
Yeah, and he read it. Don't know if that's what his assignment was and call was. So, might have been, but he read it and played it the way he's supposed to.
Yeah.
Maybe he was told maybe that was part of his assignment, but it feels like he read it because he's very heads up every time you see him play. But it's not surprising because Jim Harbaugh has well-coached players. That's why his teams are always good. Which, by the way, I put on my Twitter about Jim Harbaugh. He's only had 3 losing records in his career as a coach.
Yeah, well,
it's a nice little spin move.
He has to beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
It's a good spin move, but you like to see him keep his balance after.
Yeah.
But
well, he did get
2 guys blocking.
I don't like the spin look or the timing of the spin. You know what I mean? Oh, it wasn't very effective spin.
That guy was just sitting there waiting for him.
Wait, watch that again.
He was sitting there waiting for him.
Well, he pulled the guard off the tackle, off the D tackle. Oh no, he didn't. What's that spin?
Tackle.
Yeah. No, the D tackle was already reaching.
Yeah,
right.
he stunned it to the center. Let's see.
He stands up all the time in their defense because it is a 3-4. But
I would like to see him with a hand
in
in the dirt.
essence, force them out of the pocket again.
Yep. Pressure.
Beat the tackle. Again, active hands, beating the tackle, getting around the corner, not quite closing it out, but pressured him out of the pocket. Forces, well, it's a complete pass, but that was a nice play by Martinez. But
It was also good by the right tackle to keep him away from the quarterback.
yeah. No, it was a good recovery by the tackle.
But again, watch the hands.
The 69 is probably getting pissed off. He cannot get hands on 97 all day long. Of course, 69 doesn't have active hands, and 97 does. Active hands wins every time.
Yeah. He hooked him.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to get in. Like, if he did not get his hands in there that quick and able to hook that arm in there.
Good tackle by 30 there.
What do you feel? A couple more plays?
Yeah, we'll watch a couple more. This game ended up scoring 32-29. So
Oh.
at some point it got
Again.
lost.
Collapse the pocket
Yep,
from the
forced a bad
outside.
throw from the left side this time. Left side of the offense, right side of the defense.
They need to keep him over there because he is making some.
He abuses these tackles, man. Here we go, 97 against 65. Looks like right on the logo. God. Now, if you watch that again. Let me see before I say that. So it looks. No, it's not. No. Okay. It almost looks like at first, when I first saw it, it looked like he was trying to go around and take like a shortcut in a sense.
Kind of wish he would have cut it to the inside of the.
Wish he would have went a little bit flatter to it, path to it. I don't hate it. Again, nitpicking. But again,
I'm curious who's beat up right now.
Quarterback felt that pressure.
Yeah, like watch him walk to the line.
His favorite, left leg, man.
I don't think he's playing 100 anywhere near 100%.
No.
Ooh.
Is that the same play?
No, different one.
God, he hurt that left tackle.
Yeah, he's hurt. Yeah,
he threw him. He tried to throw him into the quarterback. Oh, here we go. This is going to look very similar to the last one, but this time left tackle is going to be some pain. I hate to laugh. I'm not laughing at the kid for being injured.
Oh yeah, no.
He launched him. God, man, I like his aggressiveness. Like I said,
I do too.
That's why I said he chooses violence on every pass rush.
He's very Nick Bosa-ish with his aggressiveness and his power.
I'd say he's so I'll put it this way. I think Nick and Joey were stronger at the point of the attack against the run.
Yeah. I think he's a
not
smarter
that he's
player.
not putting a stronger point of attack. And yes, I think he's more heads up than Nick and Joey were.
Yeah.
I think he's more Chase Young in that sense because Chase Young was actually very heads up.
Yeah, I mean, we're throwing a lot of big names here.
Yeah. That's why I felt bad using Chandler Jones because I'm like, but at the same time, it makes sense.
I think you're watching a player play hurt right now and still dominate a game.
Yeah. Like, this isn't Taco Charlton we're watching here at all.
Oh, jeez.
From trust me, I know we had him. Hey, he was a sack leader for the Dolphins.
I know. Immediately after we got rid of him, you guys got him.
And we had Charles Harris too. Oh my God.
It's that hands.
Watch. It's a move.
He didn't even touch him. He didn't even touch him, but you don't have to.
It's what I told you about last time. With the last time I saw him do that. He's putting his hands up to fake them out. Then when they reach their hands out, he drops his and drops a corner. It works for him. Will it work in the NFL? I don't know if it's a legit technique. I haven't really seen that. So, I mean, maybe it's a legit technique. But I like that he has a plan.
He's at least putting his hands out there quicker than they are, and they have to adjust to that.
It's very quick hands.
Yeah.
And he's got strong hands.
Very quick.
Look at that. Right in there.
I think he knows his hands are very powerful, and he knows people are going to have to adjust to that.
Watch this. Hands on, hands off, as soon as he finds a ball. He disengages blocks very well.
Yeah.
I like this kid a lot. Look, he's hurt in that pile.
Who is? Oh.
Well, he's slow to get up, I should say.
Or is he trying to just shield himself?
Maybe. I really like watching him. Very sound. But I mean, I love edge rushers, pass rushers, defensive ends.
I just want to see something real quick.
Hey.
Is this the one where he got hurt? We thought he got hurt?
Yeah.
I just want to see the scoreboard to that.
13-0.
1st and 10.
Almost at the end of the first half. Third quarter now.
Oh, how far from the... Sorry, this is just something for me. At this point. Oh, so yeah. He was out for a little bit there. That's what I was looking
So
at.
he is hurt. He is playing hurt. And he's still playing tough. So he's a tough kid. Mark that down.
Oh, never mind. I was wrong. Because that's 9 seconds left. I went too far back.
Oh, I got you.
He's a tough kid still. Jeez. Give it to him.
No, it's fine. I was
know.
going to say that he's playing banged up.
Let's see what we got here. I'll make this for our last play.
Yeah, it's fine. That one he let the tackle carry him out a little bit. Good job on the tackle and guard there.
I think
he's drawing attention.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. That jolt from the guard messed him up there. Mm-hmm. That was going to be a sack by him if that jolt from the guard didn't happen.
So what we're seeing now is he's been destroying the left tackle and the right tackle. They have no answers. So their answer is let's get help with the guard.
I wonder why they're not putting the tackle or the defense tackle on the guard, like trying to get him to attack the guard.
Well,
and then maybe stunning.
You would have to slide this tackle over or stunt on that side.
Or try and cause a double team. So maybe split the guard in the tackle or in the center with that defensive tackle. Force that guard to stay over. Yeah, and then allowing, or like I'd be trying to figure out a way to get one-on-ones with.
No, you're right. I mean, because what you're going to do, you're going to put the offensive line in bad position. So they're either not going to chip him and he's going to get him, or they're going to chip him and the defensive tackle is going to have the advantage. Well, but they're bringing attention to him now.
Jeez.
Oh, the tackle did a good job.
Oh, that tackle guy. I mean,
he got abused, but watch him right.
Yeah, he was able to anchor back.
He was able to anchor that last second.
Yeah.
And that guard hitting him slowed him up just
enough. But he was about to be on skates if that guard did not hit him.
Yep. If that's one-on-one, the guard didn't hit him, he's going to be thrown back again.
Yeah. But yeah. I like the player. I think he has a very big opportunity to be the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft.
I'm not going to go that far because it's so early, but I will say I think he's him and Thibodeau right now are the top pass rushers I watched. They're different players.
I have to watch more of Thibodeau. I can't say anything about him right now. I don't have enough film under me to.
Yeah,
I like to at least get 3 games.
Wait, look, they're different players. Hutchinson is more of that physical guy, the point of attack, where Thibodeau, physical, yes, but he relies a little bit more on athleticism, and so they have a different style of play, is what I'm trying to say.
And
I think they both have a high ceiling. I think Thibodeau's ceiling might be a little higher, but Hutchinson, I think, is like pro ready and can give you 10, 15 years of good to all pro play. Where Thibodeau, I think there's a little bit more boom bust there.
So if you watch this with us and you're like, yeah, I see it, but I don't know what you were talking about in the show earlier, just throw in that Washington film. I think it's on YouTube. And watch him just absolutely every play just cause a mayhem on his side of the play.
They just had no answer for him. And Washington's offensive line has not looked good this year, and Washington's not been good this year. But, man, Hudson just dominated in that game. He had 2.5 sacks in that game, and I'm not sure he finished the game. Like, I think they pulled starters.
Yeah. But, anyway. Fun. Appreciate it. Love watching film.
Yes, especially defensive line. That's fun for me.
I like that. Mine's offensive line, defensive line. I like it. I like when you get to see a lot of action going on every play.
Mm-hmm.
So, I love it. Anyway, we got our next show's in November.
Yep. November 5th it should be. Hang on one second. November 5th is our next show. We're going to be talking running backs. I'm actually looking forward to that one because there's some good running backs in that one. And I have a friend of the show, Damian Parsons, coming on.
There we go.
So that's going to be fun.
He's very active right now within the draft talk right now. He's in a lot of spaces.
Yep. He's a co-host of Cover One. Really good guy. I've had a lot of conversations with him, and he covers about every position, but running back is like his top position. So I'm really looking forward to having him on and picking his brain with running back and have him lead the film breakdown for that. So.
And we're going to treat this like we normally would. We'll probably have this show on the podcast and updated and live that same Saturday morning. So, be good to go.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. We will see you guys on our next show.